75 basis points then, is that locked and loaded for the Fed, and can markets deal with that?
I think it is locked and loaded. I think the markets can deal with the 75 basis point increase. But what remains uncertain is what the Fed will say post its FOMC meeting and its summary of economic projections, including its dot plot. So I think, it's not about the 75 basis points hike per se that's going to rattle the markets. It's about whether the Fed will continue with more 75 basis point rate hikes or whether it will step it up to 100 basis points and whether it will keep rates elevated for all of 2023. So we'll get better clues of all of this post the Fed meeting on Wednesday. So I think the markets will be looking out for what the Fed thinks about the future more than what it's going to do on Wednesday itself.
Let's talk about that outlook then, Vasu. What is the risk of the Fed taking down the economic projections, admitting that recession is the collateral damage of the tightening cycle, and to what degree is that going to destabilise the dollar and destabilise markets, or is that going to be bad news is good and gets the market thinking about a pause or a pivot again?
Yeah, you're right, Sri. I mean, various scenarios can play out. My suspicion is that, the Fed will take its economic projections down. It is probably not going to project a recession, not just yet. The Fed is hoping for a soft landing. At this juncture, the broader economic data do not point to a deep recession just yet. So maybe the Fed is not ready to project a recession. But if it does project a recession, I think that could initially spook the markets because the market's only pricing in a 50% probability of recession. Earnings are not projecting a recession at all. Analysts are not projecting earnings recession at all. So I think if there's a recession, which is what the Fed is projecting, that may spook the markets initially. But as you said, the silver lining is that, the Fed could then pivot to a dovish stance. I think it's too early for the Fed to do that. I think the Fed is prepared for recession to bring prices down because the current price levels, the current inflation levels are way above the Fed's target.